Well, I was born in Jakarta. I didn't spend a whole lot of time in Jakarta after I was born, but my family and we moved back to Jakarta in 2000 and lived there from 2000 to 2011. And so I think the sort of formative part of my childhood was developed in Jakarta, and I had a really happy childhood. Uh, I'm not an Indonesian by blood or by family, but it was really remarkable to live in a place where folks were so eager to welcome me, to invite me to like buka puasa with them, and it really taught me a lot about just sort of being generous with your skills and your time, and to be gracious with everybody. I think growing up in Jakarta has sort of made me very patient also, because like the matcha in Jakarta is pretty legendary, but you also learn how to treat people with kindness and grace. I think for a city that has a lot of challenges with traffic, with flooding, it's not really hard to find folks who are willing to help you push your car if it breaks down, or if it's raining, they'll say, come stand underneath my roof and we'll just wait for the rain to pass together. So I think the one thing that Jakarta really instilled with me is a sort of sense of you have to be a part of a community, and you have to, in order to do that, you really have to offer your help to folks, because other people are going to end up helping you later as well. I have a lot of very fond memories of Indonesia. I was lucky enough to travel to a lot of different parts of the country. I think everyone sort of knows Bali because it's a pretty incredible destination. There's only one Bali in the world, and it's such a unique culture that you really can't experience anywhere else. But I was really fortunate to be able to travel places like Bromo, for example. Seeing the sunrise go over Bromo, and then to go into the actual caldera and ride horses there is incredible. There's so much natural beauty, natural splendor in Indonesia that I lived there for 11 years, but I still feel like I haven't really scratched the surface. I like playing carambol a lot because it's also something that I was able to enjoy that game, and even though I'm not someone who speaks a whole lot of Indonesian, it is something that it is possible to just like play a game with somebody and you don't share a language. And even a lot of Indonesians don't speak the same language. You have someone who maybe speaks Bahasa Indonesia and then someone who speaks Bahasa Jawa, and they can still play carambol. I mean, moving from Indonesia to the United States, I think was probably a little different for me than Indonesians moving to the United States, because I'm a U.S. citizen. My father is American, and I had been to the United States quite a lot, and so my sort of assumption was like, oh, I'm going to transition very easily and I'm going to be very adaptable. And at the time, I thought I was like, oh, I'm maybe more American than Indonesian. But by the time I moved to the United States and started college, I still found myself sort of gravitating towards people from. There wasn't a lot of Indonesians at my university. It was a little bit of a rough transition, just because the food was very different. The sort of mindset was very different. It took a while, but I'm grateful that I didn't sort of abandon the Indonesian experiences I had. I didn't really have to compromise on that. I haven't been to Jakarta in 14 years. The last time I was in Bali was, I think, 8 years ago. And so I'm very curious to see what Jakarta is like now. I'm going back in about a month for the first time in 14 years. And I think the first question that I have is like, is there still macet? I expect that there will be, but I'm excited to see just how the city has grown as well. Because from what I understand, when I lived there my entire time, everyone was sort of waiting for the MRT to be built. And so now that the MRT is built, like, how has that changed things, and how do all the places that I used to hang out. Are they still there? Do they still exist? Maybe they moved, or are they building up? And I think another thing that I'm just very curious about is just because Jakarta is such a fast-growing city, how big is it now? Is it something that I can even wrap my head around? I'd be interested in seeing is the kaki lima culture also. I really liked eating from kaki limas when I lived in Jakarta, but I don't know if that's something that's still as prevalent or the warung culture is about the same. So I'm excited to see that. I would encourage young Indonesians to just take a stab at it. Do whatever you can. You don't always have to wait for someone to give you a job or an internship. I think what I'm particularly inspired by is sometimes a lot of independent creators figuring out how to do it on their own. There needs to be new models for how to produce and sustain journalism, and I think those models can come from any part of the world. I think one of the mistakes that a lot of aspiring journalists make is the assumption that article is the only unit of journalism. We live in an age where you can make infographics, you can make a video, you can make blog posts, you can do Substack. Those are all different options that you can take, and I think we're in a stage where we need more entrepreneurs to really advance this field of journalism. So I'd encourage young people to, yes, take a look at the internships, take a look at the traditional jobs, but you can also be the sort of entrepreneur to really define what the next era for journalism looks like. This one's a little tricky for me because Jakarta is my hometown, it's where I grew up, and many of my friends, even today, are Indonesian, but I haven't been there in so long. So I think it certainly gave me my sort of formative education and helped shape the way that I view the world and how I interact with others and sort of treat other people. And so I think it's a big part of that sort of formative years. I would say it was sort of gave me the formative education that I have in my life. So I would consider it a second home. I'm very proud to represent Indonesia in whatever way that I can. And one thing that I really enjoyed about living in Indonesia is because there's such a big emphasis on recognizing and respecting a lot of different religions, is like all the Indonesian holidays. In the United States, we don't have a lot of public holidays, but it was really nice to have holidays for all the recognized religions in Indonesia, even if only one island celebrated it. And so a holiday that I really value and respect, I don't think celebrate is the right word because it's quite solemn, but I do really value Nyepi because it's a day of sort of like everyone in the country recognizes it, and only one island really participates in it, but to have that sort of recognition from all your countrymen and say, hey, we value your culture and religion enough that we're going to give a public holiday and everyone's going to participate in it, I think is something that's really admirable, and I really admire that about Indonesia as well. But because it's a more somber and silent holiday, I don't think celebrate is the right word, but I value it very much.